Prehab, welcome back.
It's been a long time since we've done one of these podcasts together, but I'm really excited to get this going again.
Platform like this allows us to talk more about behind the scene of what's happening here at Prehab.
It's been 9 years now since you've been producing content. While the content that we're producing has changed, what hasn't changed is the mission and why we're doing everything that we're doing to better healthcare.
89% of people Google their healthcare symptoms before seeing a healthcare provider. The key is to give them, high quality information. That's why we're really trying to push this narrative of be proactive with your health.
Healthcare is predicated on sickness. How many times do you see a patient you're like, God damn it, if I just saw you 6 months ago and gave you one sentence or statement of information like that pain is okay, keep doing this.
We have movement problems too. Everything that we design is something that, hey, we would use, we would buy into it.
But when it comes to wellness and proactive care, there's a big issue here. That was a really big change that honestly, I don't think we anticipated how much it would change our business model.
In order for us to have as great of an impact as we possibly can, we need to be able to reach as many people as possible.
It's much bigger than the three of us. I think a problem that we're still facing that we're going to be able to work through on the podcast is...
Welcome to the Prehab Podcast, where we dive into expert insights, connect with industry leaders, and share real stories to help you take a proactive approach to your health. I'm Dr. Arash Maksudi, physical therapist, and on today's show, we have the founders of Prehab, Craig, Mike, and myself. We are excited to be reintroducing ourselves to anybody who might be new to Prehab. We'll share a bit about what we've been up to since our last upload over a year ago, our background and mission, and give you a sneak peek at what to expect for this refreshed version of the podcast. So let's dive into it.
We're excited to be doing something new. Yeah, we're back.
Back in action.
All right, we're
Feels
back.
good.
I can't even remember the last time that the three of us sat down and did a podcast.
I don't even know if we've done a podcast in here. I feel like last time I had a podcast, we were using not even AirPods. It was like wired things for the three of us at least being on one together.
Lots of evolution that's happened since then.
Oh yeah.
It's been over a year since the last time we published a podcast. We have some exciting topics that, are in the pipeline. There's also a lot of things that the three of us want to talk about. But the question is, why are we doing this?
It's giving us a platform to be able to peel the curtains back on the business, on us as individuals, on us as business partners, as husbands, as coworkers, as employees and employers, and to give people a deeper sneak peek about kind of what we're doing at Prehab. While the podcast has changed, while it's been 9 years now since you've been producing content, while the content that we're producing has changed, what hasn't changed is the mission and why we're doing everything that we're doing to better healthcare. I think over the last 8 or 9 years, there's been a ton of changes, COVID being one of them. I think people are way more receptive and open to asynchronous care, getting healthcare, and not visiting a doctor one-on-one, but there's still so much more I think we can do.
Yeah. I just reflect back on why we even started creating content in the first place, and the intent there has not really changed. Mm-hmm. I mean, we saw that there's a lot of bad information online, which is why we started it in the first place, and it's still the case. That's the issue with social media or content generation. It's like anyone can create content. So if you're credible, great, you can create good content. If you're not, there's going to be bad content out there. And so I think the intent is largely still there. And you see what you're saying, Mike, with everyone is Googling or searching their healthcare symptoms. I think I saw 89% of people Google their healthcare symptoms before seeing a healthcare provider. Mm-hmm. And so people are already going to be searching whatever issue that they're feeling. And the key is to give them, high quality information. And that's a big problem that we see in the current system is there's not that. And, with the system that we have in place, people have to wait 2, 3, 4 weeks before getting the help that they need. And now whatever information they found during that 2, 3, 4 weeks can either be really good or really bad. And the goal is to not allow them to get that misinformation before they see a skilled professional, or hopefully they get the information they need that doesn't even
have to go.
Yeah, they don't even need that professional in the first place. And that declutters a bit of this very backed up healthcare system that we have right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the three of us will continue to come back to one word, and that's access. Over the last year, 2 years, we've really kind of focused on, okay, what is it that we're doing? Why are we still doing this? Because we've been almost doing this for 9 years. It's crazy to think. We've been out of school for a little over 7 years. We started this while we're in school.
Yeah.
And it's why are we still going to film videos? Why are we still doing content? We've covered a lot of education and a lot of exercise videos. And the podcast is it's a new medium for us to engage, especially even just getting the three of us to sit down, be on camera. It doesn't happen often, but it's all for the purpose of access to like we're just trying to redefine access to physical therapy. And, the app is our number one focus. That's what we're doing there. That's where a lot of those education and exercise videos live. But now the podcast is going to grant access to our community to tap into a different style of content. So what are you two excited to talk about on the podcast content-wise?
Yeah, I think for me, it's relating back everything that we're doing so people can understand how important it is to take care of their health, and then how easy it could be to take care of their health. When we were talking about content and access and how easy it is to get social media information on YouTube or podcasts, whatever platform you're listening to this to. When we're all in the clinic and you're treating someone, how many times do you see a patient, you're like, God damn it, if I just saw you 6 months ago and gave you one sentence or statement of information like that pain is okay, keep doing this, that problem would never have ballooned to what it is when you see them now. And then through social media, content that we're producing here, the mobile app, everything that we put on education, we're able to reach people right away, and hopefully they get that help and they don't even need to come and see us or any other provider.
Totally. Yeah, that's the goal. I think Naval has a good quote that inspiration is perishable. And I like that a lot, because if you're interested in something, like, take action on it now. If there's a topic that you want to learn about, take action on learning that now. And for us, like, I know initially when creating content, like, we were already looking these things up, and I feel like that's what created the best content and the best programs. And so for me, anything that I'm very much interested in, like, I'm already doing research in, I'd love to have a guest, and this provides a platform to have those guests on that I wouldn't have had the conversation with otherwise. And so, I mean, there's a lot of different things with, like, healthcare leaders and maybe some entrepreneurial stuff that, we are doing some behind the scenes type work that we don't really touch on too much on social media. But, like, I think a platform like this allows us to talk more about behind the scene of what's happening here at Prehab.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that ask us, well, what about the marketing strategy? What's your user acquisition strategies? How did you guys grow on social media? I know that's a conversation that you want to have with our marketing director, and that's going to be a great conversation that we can open up to our community of what is it like to grow from an Instagram page and then to YouTube, and then what are the differences between platforms? And those are the types of conversations that hopefully we can have with the community.
Yeah, exactly. Things that we've learned along the way. Not saying that we've done it perfectly, but there's a lot of failures that we've had, a lot of things that have worked, and just documenting that, giving you guys access to that information. It's not healthcare access, but it's information that hopefully you guys can benefit from and use appropriately. So these things are all valuable pieces of content. And if there are other topics that you guys think that we should cover or would be interesting, just let us know. Like, we're all ears to different topics. And there's a much larger variety of topics that we're going to be talking about in the future versus what we've previously done on the podcast. So be ready for that, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and when we started creating videos 8.5 years ago, I mean, we had 15 seconds to work with. Like, that's what we knew. That's the game that we played. But I think at that time we were very hungry and we wanted to give more. So that's why, all right, Mike, Arash, we're going to link up at school gym, plan for like 3-4 hours. You're going to film as many 15-second videos as you can. And then when you need a break, we're rotating and we're just going to rinse and repeat. And that was really, hey, we need to improve access to this information. But I think over the years, it's like, okay, well, now information is abundant everywhere. Like, it's much easier to get access to information, but we're still dealing with the problem of finding the right information at the right time. Things like ChatGPT is great because you get information, but the problem is it's confidently right and it's confidently wrong. So I think a problem that we're still facing that we're going to be able to work through on the podcast is awareness. And like peeling back the layers on, hey, physical therapy can help with this, and here's why. Versus TikTok and the short form content today, you can't peel back layers in 8 seconds. Yeah. So I know that's what I'm excited about, is getting into longer form discussions, because the problems that we're trying to face today, there's layers to them, so you just can't do that in a 15-second video anymore.
Yeah, in today's day, it's difficult to know what is good or bad information. There is more content being produced each year than there ever was in the history of content creation, just to show how exponential it is with the amount of content, the abundance of information that's out there now. And that's why I personally like something like the dislike button on YouTube, so you can kind of get an idea of these things. But the responsibility really is on the individual now. Same thing with the healthcare system. Like, you have to be doing your own research and trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and kind of be your own case study for healthcare and for other parts of your life as well. And if you're not taking responsibility there, you're not really setting yourself up for success long term.
I know the word about, we're talking about content right now. I had this conversation. I forgot who it was the other day, because there's times I meet people and they're like, man, you're like famous, you're an influencer. And I absolutely hate that. Like, I don't feel that way, whatsoever. I identify first as a physical therapist and then maybe second as an entrepreneur. There's nothing in there that's influencer. But then I realized that, yeah, we do create a lot of content. And then I'm realizing that maybe the definition of content creator, like, that's something, okay, maybe I can identify that. Maybe not me myself. Maybe it is me myself. Maybe it's our company, but we are a content creator, the subject matter experts and we're trying to educate people about their body to take control of their health. And our content is all around physical therapy or adjacent parts of physical therapy. And I'm like, okay, I can get down with that. But yeah, we're not producing content to just be famous. And I think there's a difference between that with this new age of producing content. Like, what's the goal behind it? And it's, again, the goal has always been the same for us, is to educate people, give people the tools that they need so that they can learn about their body, hopefully help themselves. And of course, if they're not able to, then reach out to the right medical provider to help them.
Yeah, we're playing a bigger game than just creating content. And for us, the last 2.5 years has been launching and growing this new app. And it's because we truly see it as a solution to real world problems.
Yep.
Like, not saying that creating content doesn't solve problems, but for us, we don't just play on social media platforms anymore. Like, we have a product, the product serves people. We get feedback from users as to, is it helping them? Is it not helping them? And then, okay, how can we make this better? Because we know that the world is changing. The world is different than it was 8.5 years ago. And physical therapy can be accessed and it can be utilized asynchronously. Right? That word, async?
Sounds right.
Let's start with async. Yeah, not my skill set saying that word. But that's the game that we're playing now.
Yeah, and on social media too, it's an exercise or two, and sometimes that's all honestly that it takes to help someone. It could be a subtle change, like I was saying, in how you move, and that could be like the light bulb that goes off to help someone. For a lot of people, and maybe that's half the people that are dealing with aches and pains. For the other half, you need a structured plan of care. You need to have progressive overload, and that's really when you're talking about the app. It may be some similar videos that you've seen on social media. A squat's a squat. No matter how you squat, a squat's a squat. But it's how you structure that squat, and how you layer that squat, and how you program that squat to help someone's knee pain or ankle mobility, depending on what the goals are. And that's really what we've been able to dive into the app and transform a lot of the content that we're filming into much more actionable steps for people to help themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. So social media builds marketing uses this term KLT factor, know, like, and trust. So that way, if you do want to guide them towards our app or exercise library, there is something that they can move towards because they already trust the brand. But the idea of a social media post being the solution can only be, a symptom management tool at best. Like, you need something more to solve the root problem and progressively overload to prevent injuries from happening. You see all the stats on how re-injury rates are so high because people don't rehab or get to that prehab stage of each injury, and therefore create this chronic issue over and over again. And that's kind of the problem with the current healthcare system, is it's so focused on symptom management and just masking the problem, not even solving the problem. And so that's why we have tools like the app that not only gets you out of pain, but helps you to prevent that same injury from being injured in the future. And again, you don't know this until you've gone through it oftentimes, of having the same ankle injury or back pain over and over again. And it's so important. That's why we're really trying to push this narrative of be proactive with your health.
Healthcare is predicated on sickness. Like I mentioned this before, providers get paid to provide interventions.
Yeah.
We're talking to another practice owner who's in network, shared with me his in-network rates. They get paid very, very little to do an hour or 30 minutes or 45 minutes of an evaluation and diagnosis. That's the skill of a PT, to like take all the information from the patient and say, I think that this is what you need. Here's your plan of care. They get paid 3 times as much to provide the 15-minute intervention, to have that patient come back every time. I'm like, wow, that's how the billing codes are set up. So of course we have this problem where it's like, we don't really care what's going on. Just come in every day, or come in 2 times a week, 3 times a week, because that's how the practice owners are going to make money. And they got to make money somehow. So the healthcare system and how insurances pay out, it's incentivizing that model. And it's just going to keep building, where no one wants to work ahead. No one wants to work upstream. No one wants to work on prevention because there's no money there.
Exactly.
It's sad.
Yeah. Only 3% of healthcare dollars even goes towards prevention and wellness as a whole. The rest largely goes to chronic conditions. But yeah, I mean, I think the only 2 solutions are the system is going to improve, which means that insurance companies are going to make changes, which I don't see happening. You see like 45% of their revenue going towards admin and profits. So it's not an efficient system, but that's one. Or go outside the system. And like, that's what we're focused on with our clinic being out of network, with, you know, our app being a solution outside the healthcare system. So that way you can get the help that you need, not dealing with this broken system that we currently have.
Yeah, when there aren't solutions readily available, it's create your own, and that's what we've tried really hard to do. And I think there's more and more people that are realizing that too, that if you want the solution for your health, it doesn't have to be your physical health, it could be your mental health, any part of your body, you need to be an active player in that plan of care. You need to go reach out to doctors. You need to talk to your friends of what have they done. Don't just trust the first person that, you know, that tells you something. Talk to multiple people. But there are so many other options that are not dictated by just your insurance, or not dictated by just where you live, or not dictated by just, you know, the options that are presented to you by your employer plan. Like you have so many more options that are outside of that. You just got to take a little bit of time to research there.
That's the thing, is there's always too many options nowadays.
Yeah.
So like, and that comes back to the issue again of like finding what is the valid, credible source. Cause like you think you should trust your healthcare system and the money that you're paying towards this insurance policy is going to take care of you. But, you know, our healthcare system is really good for like bigger issues and like for surgeries or these bigger problems that people do come to the US because we do have good solutions to these big medicine.
We're good at medicine.
Yeah.
Great at medicine.
Exactly. But when it comes to like wellness and proactive care, like there's a big issue here. You see that our lifespan is in the US not going up. Actually, the last 10 years, if anything, it's stagnant and has gone down a few years. Compared to other countries, it's only going up. And health span is also not good compared to other countries in the US. So we've got a big issue, and the problem is it's getting worse, and people have to try to take more ownership of their health, or it's going to continue to move that way.
Yeah. Well, movement is medicine, right? It's just a different kind of medicine. But it's a big pill to swallow, and that's why a lot of people don't want to do it. But everything that the two of you are describing just comes back to the same problems, right? It's awareness of that this actually can really move the needle for me. The problem is now I have to even dig through way more potential solutions because everyone has the ability to share their opinion now. Everyone wants to be a content creator and express their opinion, which you just have to travel further through the weeds to get to what it is that you think or what is actually going to help you. And then more importantly, it's access. Just actually, okay, once I find the solution that should work for me, can I actually even turn that key and open the door? And that's what we're trying to do is, you know, make it easy for people to understand that movement is medicine, right? And here's how to easily access it as a consumer. You don't have to deal with a middleman, especially a middleman that you're paying, that you're counting on to step in and help you out, and who, you know, just says, sorry, can't help. We see it all the time. We deal with it ourselves. Yeah. And I mean, that's why the three of us, dating back to when we first started PT school, nothing has changed when it comes to insurance for physical therapy. If anything, it's actually just gotten worse. Like physical therapists are getting paid less and patients are getting access to less. But, you know, change has occurred by not just complaining, it's doing. And the three of us, we wanted to learn more sports and orthopedic content. That's why we started creating content. We wanted to change the perception of what the public thought PT was. Okay, well, that's why we started creating content to do that. And we wanted to make it easier for people to have access to an alternative solution than seeing someone in person. And that's what we're trying to do with the Prehab app. So, yeah, what are we even doing these days when we're not creating content?
Yeah, these days, so you were talking about how the app we launched 2 years ago, and that was a really big change that honestly I don't think we anticipated how much it would change our business model, going from a single program to this all-encompassing membership that has everything included with our own dev team. And so we were a little slow to change, but throughout this last year, I think a lot of the focus has been working on the business with things like getting a scorecard, accountability pathways, accountability reviews, all these things that create a much better system. And we've been grateful to have good coaches, consultants, the Business Academy to help with guiding us to create these things. And that way we better understand the inputs and outputs of the business. So that way we can double down on certain areas and do less things better than what we were doing in the past, was trying to do everything as fast as we can all the time.
Yeah.
And so having these scorecard metrics are like your vital signs to your business. And you have to have these things to understand what success looks like. And I think this last year we focused a lot on working on the business, and now we have a better understanding of it to work back in the business with things like content creation and creating something like this podcast and getting this going again, because we have a much better visibility on our business.
The unit economics, like what Arash is diving into, is in order for us to have as great of an impact as we possibly can, we need to be able to reach as many people as possible. In order to reach as many people as possible, we need to know where are the best ways to reach people. How can we best reach people? How can we best message how to move someone that doesn't think that they should work on their knee, or that the pain that they're dealing with is normal. But no, that's actually not that normal, and you have a solution over here. And that, I'd say, over the last, like you said, 1 or 2 years, we've really, really dialed into that, and we're continuing to get better and better over that.
Yeah.
In order, again, we want to help as many people as possible. We have to be able to reach them. They have to have access to us. And that's really been the focus the last year or two, I would say.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Arash, when you said vital signs for the business. I know, Mike, you allude to this often, and I couldn't agree more that physical therapists are actually set up really well to be entrepreneurs if they want to be. Because as a physical therapist, you can't manage what you don't measure. And over the last 2 years, we have really dialed in what is it that we want to measure, what is it that we need to measure, and why. Anything and everything that we're considering to do for the business is very calculated now. We're trying to make the best informed decisions with hiring, with changing strategy, with project management, with implementation and execution. It's a very, as best as it can be, organized system that we're reviewing on a weekly, on a monthly, on a quarterly, and a yearly basis. And yeah, like even organizational chart, right? It's like now we have 30 plus people helping out with the business, 24, give or take, full-time equivalents. Like it's much bigger than the three of us. And that's why we transitioned to Prehab, not just the Prehab guys, because there's so much more that happens off camera. Us creating content on camera is a very small piece.
Yeah. Some of the day-to-day, I guess, to peel back the curtains on that, I spend a lot of my time working on the product. And again, if we know what physical therapy is, it's not a physical therapist doing anything to you that's getting you better. It's a physical therapist guiding you, and you're putting in the work. A lot of times that work is movement, it's exercise. So in the product, it's how do we make the product as sticky as possible, as engaging as possible, to encourage someone to continue to open the app, to continue to understand the programming, to understand the movements. How do we get them to continue to exercise? Because you're only going to get better by doing the movements. And I guess on a day-to-day, that's where I'm spending a good amount of my time.
How about you, Rush?
Yeah. On my time is more on the marketing side. So more on the user acquisition, trying to find ways to target, individuals that are interested in getting out of pain, preventing injury, improving mobility through our content, through advertisements, through our website, even some app store optimization techniques. So just constantly looking at the data and numbers to make sure that we are improving to get the right user, what we've defined as like a high value customer, the right user onto the app or the library. So finding ways and making sure that we're always getting feedback also from users helps a lot, from both a user acquisition, but also from a product optimization standpoint. I think that we've made a lot of good changes in this last year with all the data that we have in place. Like, we're making the app significantly better than ever before, and it's exciting to see that.
Yeah, and then I fill in all the gaps. I tried to focus on prehabber success, right? Ultimately, customer success. What is the experience that someone has when they first come across the brand to the most recent time that they've interacted with the brand? So making sure that, messaging is synced up from marketing all the way to the product side. Definitely spending a lot more time on the product side, especially when it comes to engagement and retention, right? It's like, yeah, we have an app. It's a lot of async. We're not going to say that full word. We're going to stick to async. But honestly, we have a clinic here in person in Culver City. Hundreds of people come in a month, and all of the same things that we focus on in that in-person experience to, hey, what are your services? Okay, how can I learn more about them? Okay, my first visit, what happens during that visit, and then really what happens in between those visits, right? It's taking those same skills, those same techniques that we do in person with people and just applying it to the app. Because really we're movement consultants at the end of the day. Like, we're trying to get the awareness out there. Here's the value that we have to offer, and then here's what you need to do. And if we need to nudge you a little bit more to stay engaged with your program, we're doing it because we know that it's going to help you get the results for the reason why you signed up in the first place. So just taking all of those engagement tactics, retention tactics, and trying to remind you as to, hey, why did you come to Prehab in the first place? And are you holding yourself accountable?
Yeah.
And that's how, circle of life goes in Prehab.
Yeah.
Circle of life.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard that one yet.
No, I like that analogy because when you find a problem, for example, you're talking about how in-person PT, you can help someone out of an issue, but it's only that one person that's in front of you. And what we figured out early on was, physical therapy was thought of as this profession that helps with modalities and, manual therapy. But we realized we can help a lot of people with just exercise and education. And when we realized that, we also realized there's a lot of people that would benefit from this. And so when you identify a problem, that's a potential opportunity to leverage as a entrepreneur. And so that's when I remember we created our first program, was like the shoulder program, which was early on because we thought we could help with a lot of shoulder injuries. And, people that have these injuries, again, they get re-injured oftentimes. So giving them the tools that they need to bulletproof their shoulder. Now there's a lot more than just the shoulder that we have in the app. Tons of programs, tons of workouts. But it's just a reminder that if you do see a problem, that's only an opportunity, and don't take that as an obstacle that you can't jump over.
So then to wrap things up, what can the Prehab community expect from the three of us? Because we're not refilming all those education and exercise videos. So at least we're going to look young for a while, but we're different people. Different people than the people that film those videos. So Arash, why don't you kick it off? Who are you today?
Who am I today?
What does Prehab mean to you? And what do you look forward to talking about? And then Mike can go, and then I'll tie it up.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, I'm looking forward to I guess in a lot of different areas based on what we focus on, like the product definitely getting more personalized. And Mike, you can probably touch on that a bit more. From our end on the marketing side, there's a lot of exciting things that we have with content, for example, the podcast being one, a lot of behind the scene type work that maybe you're interested in, just how we've got to where we are or what we're doing on the day-to-day basis. Content is just a small percentage of what we do focus on, as kind of Craig, you were talking about our system way back. So it's going to be, I think, good insight for us to just share what we've learned. Different things behind the scene would probably be a cool thing that we're going to start showing more of.
Yeah, I think on the podcast, like we mentioned, peeling back the layers, being able to talk about entrepreneurship or the current problems that we're solving now.
Yeah.
Like the problem, the big picture problem is, how can we make healthcare better? How can we make healthcare more accessible? But what are some of the problems that we are solving now? For example, within the product, how can we make the product a little bit more specific to a user that comes in? We have a lot of the information, so we know maybe what that user wants, what that user is looking for, how often they want to exercise, how long they want to exercise. How can we then customize the product to that person to, again, make it more engaging to them so that they stay on? Because they're only going to get better with every health and wellness product. It can be Calm, Headspace. You just got to put in the work. So it's making sure that we develop something that is sticky and that people will be willing to put in the work, because that's how you get better in physical medicine.
Yeah, we are where we are because we wanted to design a solution that the three of us would buy into. Because at the end of the day, like, we're not different from the people that are listening, that tune into our exercises and our education videos. Like, we have movement problems too. We have health problems too. And, we, on a daily basis, we're looking for solutions as well. And everything that we design is something that, hey, we would use, we would buy into it. So we're going to continue focusing on improving our solutions for everyone that tunes in, for everyone that uses it. So the more feedback that you have, the more questions that you ask, the better. And we're excited.
A lot of upcoming changes too, if there's any providers listening, for the exercise library. We haven't focused much there at all over the last couple of years. A lot of big improvements coming on there that we're very, very excited to release over the upcoming, hopefully, quarter or two. And speaking about using the product, when Mom calls me yesterday asking about her knee pain, I'm going to divert her to a certain week in the knee program. Like, that is way better than anything else I can do with her. Like, so much better. And it's progressive. I know exactly how she's going to progress. It's literally the most easy thing for me to do to help my family, to help myself if I have issues. There's a program for you.
Yeah, I mean, I want a reason to use the product every single day. I truly believe that the more that we use our product and the more that the product fits us, we will continue to find other people that use the product. And I'm signed up for the full Ironman Lake Placid. I'm fortunate that the two of you will support me there. But there's a lot of exercise to be done, and that app needs to support me to keep me going there. So excited to talk about that and a lot more. All right, Prehab, that's it for episode number 1 of the relaunch. We have a lot of exciting topics coming up, but more importantly, please leave a comment, share suggestions. What is it that you exactly want to learn more about, especially in detail, because that's the reason for this podcast.
Let's go.